Brilliance Audio.
Excuse Me While I Disappear. Tales of Midlife Mayhem by Laurie Notaro. Performed by Hillary Huber. "I've decided," I said, as I plopped down in the cushy salon chair. "Today's the day." My hairstylist looked a little shocked, but I nodded. "I'm going all the way." "Okay," she said. "But you have to be sure. You really have to be sure, because there's no going back." "Full steam ahead," I tally-hoed. "Make me gray." I won't lie, I wasn't a mature woman embracing her true self, age, and root color. I had, instead, recently seen a photo of myself in which someone had clearly poured powdered sugar on my head, right down the part, with the surgical precision of an alien ship leaving crop circles. "Look at that," I said to my husband, pointing at the image on Facebook. "Someone was eating a donut on my head. Why didn't someone tell me?" My husband peered over my shoulder, took a good look at me, and quickly said, "I think I hear the tea kettle." Odd, I thought. I didn't hear a tea kettle. I followed him into the kitchen. He glanced back and picked up his pace, sprinting into the dining room. "I didn't hear anything," I said, as I pursued him through the living room and back to the kitchen. On my second lap, I got a good look at the empty stove. "There's no tea kettle," I said louder as he doubled back to the dining room, where I found him blocked by Maybe, our Australian shepherd. She'd realized that the sheep had escaped the pen and was now frantically herding my husband into his chair. "There's no tea kettle," I asserted again. My husband threw his arms up. "Just as there was no donut." "What?" "There was no donut," he explained. "No one dropped powdered sugar on your head." "Okay," I said, beginning to laugh. "Maybe it was cocaine." "One of your friends just got a fellowship at Harvard," he stated. "Another one runs a hedge fund on Wall Street. One owns a bookstore. Another was the president of the PTA in a snooty neighborhood. And don't forget the one fighting malaria in Africa. But, more importantly, Bill Gates knows that one's first and last name. No one is doing cocaine at your Scottsdale cinnamon roll French toast brunches." "Okay," I said, fully laughing. "I guess it was a bad light reflection." "It was not a bad light reflection," my husband finally spouted. "It's your roots. Your roots are white." I squinted at him, unbelieving. "But I get them done every 3 weeks, at $170 a pop, plus tip, and I'm a good tipper." "Well, the real tip is that every 3 weeks they grow back. White," he said. "Honey, I think you're gray." There was every possibility that he was right. I'd found my first gray hair at 22, and after that, they just kept coming. I'd invested in the occasional box of L'Oreal every now and then for the first 20 years or so. Later, when I was sick of guests inquiring furtively about the brown splotches on the walls of my bathroom, because I apparently rinsed out hair dye as if I were a wet dog, I started getting my hair dyed professionally. At first, I made a trip to the salon every 5 weeks, and then, as I merged into my 40s, every 4. Eventually, I worked my way up to a 3-week rotation. I knew more about my colorist than I did my therapist, and was actually offended when I did not make it onto the guest list for her wedding. Perhaps I shouldn't have gasped when she mentioned that she was using fake flowers from Michael's to create her centerpieces, or suggested lightly, "Remember, not everyone can pull off a sleeveless dress. It's true. My sister once fired me from her wedding party when I pointed out that the average BMI of her bridesmaids definitely pointed to arm coverings, unless the Spanx lady has suddenly invented a girdle for flesh curtains." So every 3 weeks, when I visited my fake flower-loving colorist for my fake chestnut brown hair, I was investing $170 plus a good tip into a lie, and it had stopped delivering returns.